Hello and welcome to the stock market analysis. Well, today the SPY fell a bit and the US stock market actually fell a bit, and as you can see, it is already below the 20 MA for the SPY, and if you take a look at the 60-minute chart, it has broken below this trend line, if you will, and it's already below the 200 MA, something which I usually do not like, and here's a bearish cross. So if today the SPY drops below the low of yesterday, we might see it go down a bit more. As you can see, the SPY has been above the 60-minute 200 MA for quite a long time, and only recently it's broke below the 200 MA. So there's something for us to think about, not to be so heavy in the long side at this moment, and you have to be a bit careful because if the SPY is below the 200 MA in the 60-minute chart, you want to be a bit light on longs, and just be careful. So 60-minute chart of S&P 500 futures, you can see is also below the 200 MA. So this tells us that we shouldn't be long so much as compared to in the past, where it's above the 200 MA, rising 200 MA most of the time. It told us to be heavy long. Now it's start to decline. It's also below the 20 MA and 50 MA, so we have to be a bit careful. To get a better perspective, you can look at the 2-hour chart. For the S&P 500 to really have a sustainable rise, I would like to see it go above this downtrend line. If you look at the daily chart, it has gone below the 20 MA. For quite a long time, it has not gone below the 20 MA, just here dip a bit, and here dip a bit, and this has significantly gone lower, and the next area to look at is the 50 MA, and if the 50 MA does not hold, there's a possibility that we might have more sell-off during the mid and late April. Okay, if we look at the diamonds as well, that Dow Jones Industrial Average, we can see that yesterday it had a gap down, formed a bit of a doji, because although it's already below the 50 MA, there is some pockets of support here, and there is also support at this area. So it's a support here, and there is support here about this area. So we have a doji here because it's an indecision after the gap down, and DIA is also trying to find support around this area, but definitely not a very good thing when the Dow is below the 20 MA and 50 MA in the daily chart. So if you look at the 60-minute chart, it has also gone below the 200 MA. There's a bearish cross here, and right now the 20 MA and 50 MA is declining, and if DIA drops below yesterday's low, we can see we might see another continuation of sell-off down to this area. This moment, I always like to draw downtrend lines. You might want to see if you want to buy DIA, you might want to wait for it to go back above at least this downtrend line. So right now it's in bear mode. Try not to long DIA or the components inside it, and QQQ, which represents the Nasdaq, is a bit stronger than the DIA, but it's challenging the 50 MA, something which I don't like. It should be staying up way above the 50 MA. This is a 50 MA. It should be staying above it, but it's like rounding a bit, and if it drops below the 50 MA, we might see it go lower down to this area. The hourly chart also shows that it's below the 200 MA bearish cross here. 20 MA and 50 MA are declining. So just like SPY and Dow, DIA broke below uptrend line, and it's a consolidation here, and today if it drops below this consolidation, we might see it going lower. You can check out the 15-minute to see that, okay, this is an area where you do not want it to drop. Okay, if it drops below this area, we might see more sell off in the future. So semi sector is still alright. It's still trading sideways at this moment, and sideways is not that bad. It's quite good, considering that April might not be a good month for semiconductors. You can go to the seasonality chart to have a look at it. You can go to stockcharts.com, and then you go to chart and tools and go to seasonality, click on it, and this is Dow seasonality. April it goes up, close higher 60% of the time, but you might want to look at the SMH sector, semi sector, which is very bad. Only 20% of the time it has closed higher, and April it on average for these past 4 years, 2020 to 2023, it has lost 1.6%. So something for you to think about. But it's still above the 50 MA. So if it drops to 50 MA, here might be offer some support. Nvidia itself is finding support at this area. I made a separate video on it. If you're interested, you can have a look at it. And if this support continues to hold, it might bounce up, and we want to see it trade sideways a bit, because Nvidia seasonality, if you look at it, also not very good. In April, where it loses 2.5% on average for the past 4 years, and has only gone up 40% of the time. So let's take a look at gold, but we'll take a look at GLD. GLD is a bit, I think we have a kind of flag pattern here. The flagpole, if you project, I think has a mat. This is a doji, and there's a topping tail, so it might correct a bit to meet the 20 MA, and one way to look at it is to see whether it can stay above the 50 MA. Right? If it continues to stay above the 60-minute 50 MA, we should continue to be bullish, but it drops below the 50 MA, it might correct, and going back to the daily chart, it might correct to meet near the 20 MA. So gold is at an all-time high. If you look at the weekly chart, you can see that GLD is at an all-time high. The rising 20 MA, 50 MA, and 200 MA still tells us to be bullish in the long term. But of course, in the daily chart, we also see the rising 20 MA, 50 MA, and 200 MA, which tells us to continue to be bullish mid-term and long-term. But maybe there might just be a correction. If you take a look at crude oil, WTI futures, you can see that it's yesterday we had a green bar here, and maybe it's still in an uptrend, so there's a possibility that it might just continue to move up. But of course, because of this resistance here and here, it might move up, decline, move up, and decline. But definitely in an uptrend, and this is good for oil stocks. In the 60-minute chart, it's resting at a 200 MA, and if it can break above this downtrend line, we might see it move higher, and that it will be good for stocks. Let's take a look at the oil stock. Marathon Oil going up. If oil prices continue to move up, it might continue to move higher. Same with, I think, Occidental Petroleum. This is an oil stock, okay, and oil prices will affect it, and maybe it's forming a pennant type. Okay, if this is 60-minute chart, it might break. If it breaks above here, it might continue to go higher. So there are a bit of weaknesses in the SPY, DIA, also there's weaknesses, and QQQ, if it drops below the 50 MA, we might see more sell off. So you have to be a bit careful, right? No, it doesn't mean that it's going to crash, but definitely some weaknesses going in, and you have to be careful with the longs. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.